Betrayal in the spotlight, when your closest confidant ruins the perfect proposal. He laughed and kissed her on the mouth, right in front of me. My breath caught like I'd swallowed a live firefly. My name is Marisa, fake name, I'm 31, and tonight was our 10-year anniversary dinner, the one night I'd been planning for weeks. It was supposed to be perfect. Instead, it felt like someone slammed a brick inside my ribcage. The rooftop bar was humming behind me. Glasses clinked, laughter slipped through the ivy walls, city lights pulsed like an electric heartbeat. I'd rented the place out, hired the string quartet, even chose the exact vintage of champagne he loved. And yet, here I was, watching my fiancé embrace someone else. I pressed my hand to my throat, trying to swallow the sudden lump. My phone vibrated in my clutch. I hadn't posted a thing tonight, but someone was texting. I told myself to ignore it. Just breathe. He turned and saw me. That smile, like he'd been caught smuggling diamonds. I forced my shoulders to stay square. You came early, he said, voice casual, but his eyes flicked off the woman's and back to me, like he'd forgotten I existed for a second. I did, I said, stepping forward. My heels clicked on the wooden deck, and the quartet hit a swell of violins. Perfect timing for a proposal, but timing had deserted me. Behind him, the woman, tall, with a sleek bob haircut, laughed when he brushed hair from her face. I recognized her, Claire. One of my closest friends since college. My Claire. Marisa, she said, her lips curling into a whip-thin smile as she let go. You look stunning. Thanks, I managed. My heart pounded so loud I thought people might hear it from inside. Sweat beaded at my hairline. He took my hand. Hey, babe. Sorry, I was just celebrating your new partner? I blurted, the words louder than I meant. Heads turned. I felt every eye land on that little word, partner. They knew we were engaged. They'd expect me to laugh it off. I didn't. He opened his mouth. Claire cut in, voice syrup sweet. Oh, Marisa, it's nothing. We were just catching up before the big surprise. She turned and winked at him. Wink, remember? He laughed it off, but somehow the laugh sounded hollow. The air tasted metallic in my mouth. I wanted to believe her, believe him, believe that this was part of my anniversary prank, but my instincts screamed otherwise. I backed up a step and nearly knocked over a champagne tower. Flutes rattled, and someone muttered, Whoa! I felt their stares like a spotlight. Are you okay? He asked, sincere for a fraction of a second before guilt flickered and vanished. I'm fine, I said, my voice a cracked bell. I forced a smile, the kind you give before the car accident. So, where's dinner? He glanced at Claire, whose eyes shone with triumph, and swallowed. It's in a private room. He hooked my arm and started guiding me inside, but my legs felt like jelly. The door swung shut behind me. Silence swallowed the string quartet swell. I leaned against the door and closed my eyes. Claire's heels tapped as she retreated across the deck, and the cherry wood door clicked again. Was the glass of champagne in my hand still half full? I couldn't remember. In the hallway, my breath rattled. I heard muffled laughter, not party music, but Claire's laugh. And then my phone buzzed again. I peeled out my phone, blinking against the screen's glare. A single message. Can we talk? I need to explain. Love you. From Claire's number. My world tilted. Did she love me, or was she loving him? My pulse thundered. The private room's door swung open. He stood there, suit impeccable, tie crooked. I shoved the phone into my pocket. Tell me what this is, I said. He paused, and for the first time tonight, I saw real fear in his eyes. It's not what it looks like, he whispered. But none of it looked good. My fingers trembled. The wine-colored carpet beneath my toes felt oddly burning, and the scent of aged wood closed in around me. He stepped forward. I promise. Before he could finish, my phone buzzed again. Then I saw the text that could ruin everything. I should have known something was off the moment Claire texted me that morning. 6 hours earlier, I was running down my apartment hallway in slippers, nearly tripping over the half-packed chocolate box and vintage invitation cards strewn on the floor. My hands shook as I taped each envelope. 10 years with Daniel deserved more than grocery store cards. When did you send those? My roommate Jess called from the kitchen where coffee was gurgling. Thought you were sending ours today. I am. I panted. But these are special, our close friends. Claire's in that group. Jess peeked at my madness. You and Claire have never really. I winced. We did okay? In college. Best friends. Then drifted apart. The guilt tasted bitter. The text popped up as I wrestled the last sheet into its envelope. Claire. Hey. Sorry I can't make tonight's group dinner. But I've arranged something special for Danny and you. Trust me. I bit my lip, thumb hovering. Arrange something. Was Claire speak for either the best idea ever or a ridiculous stunt? No middle ground. I shoved my phone in my pocket and forced myself to breathe. College flashback, Claire and I as roommates in that cramped dorm. Her habit of helping me with surprises, like the time she organized a surprise birthday scavenger hunt in January, when none of my friends were on campus. Or the romantic date she set up for Danny and me on the frozen quad. We had laughed until we cried, but never once did I worry she'd do anything cruel. Rolling into afternoon meetings with the caterer and florist felt like someone switched my brain to autopilot. My heart skittered every time my phone buzzed. I left messages unread. I ignored calls. By sunset, I stood behind the buffet table, brushing stray crumbs off the linen. The string quartet's music spilled through the doors, and the scent of peony centerpieces warmed the air. My chest tightened. That's when I saw her, Claire, in a deep emerald dress, stepping through the crowd like a ship breaking the tide. Her heels clicked on the marble floor, and every head turned, including mine. Flashback rewind. I remember the last time I saw her, 6 months ago at my bridal shower. She showed up late, eyes red. I'm so sorry I missed your shower, she'd said, sliding a tear-stained card across the cake table. Family emergency. Then she'd vanished again, promising coffee next week. Coffee never happened. Now here she was, gliding in, lips curved in that practiced smile. She swept a hand through her bob. Marisa. You look. She glanced at Danny, who paused mid-toast. Magnificent. Claire. I said. My voice was calm, too calm. Thanks for coming. She raised an eyebrow. Sorry I ghosted the shower. But I swear tonight makes up for it. Her gaze flicked to Danny, who was watching, brow furrowed. I forced a laugh. We'll see. Claire draped her arm around my shoulders. The touch felt chilly. I smelled her perfume, jasmine and something metallic. My pulse hammered. Ready for the big reveal? She asked, eyes bright. I hesitated. Reveal? She clucked her tongue. Danny told me to keep it secret, but he's dying for you to see. Behind us, Danny's laugh echoed. He held a champagne flute out like an offering but watched Claire with the same wary expression I wore. I glanced at Danny. What's going on? He slid a hand through his hair. Just Claire's surprise. Come on. He led us through the throng. A hush fell as we approached the curtained doorway. My breath rattled. I flashed to that morning's text. Trust me. My stomach churned. In college, trusting Claire had been easy, no consequences beyond late-night pizza. Tonight, however, the stakes soared. Danny grasped my hand. Ready? I nodded, heart thudding like a jackhammer. He yanked the curtain aside. The room was lit by dozens of flickering candles, tables set with our favorite foods. A banner read, 10 years, forever to go. Soft violins combined with hushed applause as we stepped in. Guests cheered. My chest loosened. Relief washed over me. I turned to Claire, opening my mouth to apologize for my paranoia. She was locking her phone, smirk tugging one corner of her mouth. My glance flipped back to mine, buzzing again in my pocket. With dread rising like bile, I pulled it out. My pulse was still echoing as I stepped into the candlelit room. The applause faded into the orchestra's soft hum. I should have felt safe. Our 10-year celebration, everything I'd worked for. But Claire's smile felt razor-sharp. I took a breath and moved past the buffet. Danny hovered at my side, chest tight with something I couldn't name. I tried to focus on the table. His favorite fig, goat cheese crostini, my grandma's lemon tart, the details I'd agonized over. But my gaze kept snapping back to Claire, who hovered near the entrance, phone in hand. I cleared my throat. "This is gorgeous," I said, voice trembling. "Thank you." Danny squeezed my hand. "You did all this." His eyes searched mine, but there was worry in them. Kayla, my maid of honor, slid next to me with her arm extended. "Champagne?" she whispered. I nodded, and she poured. The bubbles tickled my lips and throat. The warmth should have been comforting, but it felt like acid. I sipped and closed my eyes. That's when I heard it, Claire's laugh, too loud, cutting through the romantic hush. She was by the harpist, leaning in close, her lips brushing his ear. My vision blurred. I opened my eyes and saw her hand drifting down his back, where it lingered for a heartbeat. My chest constricted. I searched for Danny, but he'd turned, blocked from view by a towering floral arrangement. I set my glass on the table and moved toward Claire, every step a drumbeat in my ears. "Claire," I said, voice low. She turned, eyes wide, just wide enough. "Mayor, I..." "Excuse me." Danny's voice was steel. He stood beside me, jaw clenched. "What are you doing?" Claire froze. The harpist looked confused. My throat filled with ice. Claire cleared her throat. "We just catching up on old times." Danny's laugh was brittle. "Old times? You left my fiancé at her own party to flirt with the harpist?" I felt bile rise, but I swallowed it. Kayla hovered, eyebrows knitting. My grandma peeked over my shoulder. The air swelled with the whisper of silk dresses and perfumed guests, inching closer. Claire's jaw tightened. "It's not like that." "Oh? Then why does it look like that?" Danny's voice cracked. Embers of hurt flared in his eyes. "I thought you were here to celebrate us, not to hunt for attention." My knees trembled. I gripped the edge of the table. The string quartet's music stumbled. Everyone's gaze turned. A single candle guttered in the draft of gossip. Claire glanced past us. "She's overreacting." The words cut like glass. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. "Overreacting?" I echoed, stepping forward. The ribbons of music frayed, and I felt my fists clench. "You..." Claire held up her hand. "Fine. If you want the truth." She paused as though counting invisible seconds. "I'm not the only one." Every pulse in my body slammed into my ears. I blinked. "What?" Her lips curved. "I found messages on Danny's phone this afternoon." I laughed, but it came out strangled. "You hacked his phone?" "No." Claire's gaze flicked to Danny. "He showed them to me." "Don't play innocent." She held up her own phone, screen glowing. "He texted someone, 'I need to talk, it can't wait.' Look." She thrust the phone toward him. The screen displayed a single preview line. "Meet me behind the terrace in 5. I can't keep doing this." My blood ran cold. The terrace. That was where I'd confronted him earlier, before entering this room. Claire's eyes gleamed. "I didn't want to ruin your night, Marisa. But I can't stand lies." Whispers swelled. Glasses lifted, eyes darted between us. Danny's face went as white as the tablecloth. I felt the floor shift under my feet. He reached for his jacket. "I can explain." "Save it." Claire shrugged and walked away, phone in hand. The screen's glow receded as she disappeared behind the crowd. Danny sank against the wall, head in hands. "I swear." His voice cracked, but the words came out too soft. I exhaled, shock and rage coiling in my chest. My engagement ring burned against my fingertip. I forced my legs to move toward him, part to comfort, part to demand answers. My phone vibrated in my clutch. I pulled it out, hard hammering. My legs felt like lead as I guided Danny toward the lighted alcove by the bar. The hum of the party faded to a distant drone, replaced by the pounding in my ears. Candlelight flickered against the mirrored wall, casting fractured reflections of us, like shards of us, splintered and trembling. "Danny," I began, voice raw. My fingers fumbled on his arm. He glanced up, eyes haunted. "I'm sorry," he whispered. His breath was ragged, a mix of panic and guilt. The scent of his cologne, sandalwood and smoke, felt suffocating. "You lied," I said, swallowing the scream in my throat. "You told me nothing was going on." He ran a hand through his hair. I thought I could handle it." "Handle what?" I pressed, leaning closer. My heart drummed so hard I was certain everyone could hear. He closed his eyes. "I texted Claire earlier. About the gala, wanted to thank her for the surprise." He paused. "I didn't mean anything by it." I stared at him, disbelief spiraling. "You texted Claire? After she ghosted my bridal shower?" "After she..." "It was innocent," he burst out. His voice cracked loud enough to catch a waiter's attention. He whispered, "I didn't want to involve you." I shook my head, tears stinging. "You didn't involve me? You're involved with her." His knuckles went white around the phone in his pocket. "She was upset I didn't invite her to the shower. I thought if I made tonight perfect, she'd forgive me." "Forgive you?" The words ripped out. "You're not 5 years old." My palms pressed against the cool marble ledge. "Why text her behind my back?" He opened his mouth, then closed it. The hallway outside the alcove was empty. No music, no laughter, just the distant clink of silverware. I realized how alone we were in this moment. He exhaled hard. "Because I didn't want you mad at her." Mad at her?" I echoed. "I'm mad at you." My voice cracked on the last word. "Mad that you prioritized her over me. Over us." He winced. "I see that now." I grabbed his phone and held it out. "Show me." He hesitated but unlocked it, eyes ashamed. I scanned the message thread. "Claire, thanks for thinking of me for the shower. I'm sorry I bailed. Danny, I didn't want to upset you. Let's talk tonight. I'll meet you behind the terrace." "Claire." "Okay. 5 minutes. Please." My chest seized. "You planned a secret meeting, behind the terrace?" My voice was flat, disbelieving. "And you didn't think I'd notice?" He closed his eyes. "I thought I could tell you later, after everything was perfect." I felt the walls tilt. The mirrored panel behind us reflected our twisted shapes, me, furious, him, regretful. My vision blurred with tears. A gentle tap on my shoulder made me jump. It was Jess, blinking into the alcove. "Marisa, are you okay?" Her eyes flicked to Danny's phone, still glowing. I pulled free. "I'm fine." I dropped his phone onto the marble and stepped back. Jess's concern sharpened like a blade. Danny moved to follow, but I raised my hand. "Stay." His face crumpled. Jess took my hand. "Come back inside. You deserve that anniversary night." I shook my head. "No. I need answers here." I looked at Danny. "Right now." He exhaled and whispered, "Ask." My throat ached. "Why Claire? Why now, after all these years?" He swallowed. "I thought you loved surprises. I thought she'd help me wow you. And when she started flirting with the harpist?" My voice wavered. "When she kissed him?" He flinched. "I told her to stop." He rubbed his temple. "It got out of hand. I tried to pull her back." I cut in, anger flaring. "You let her. You laughed. You kissed her." I felt dizzy, as though the room spun off its axis. He grabbed both my hands, eyes desperate. "I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. Please believe me." A hush fell. The distant hum of violins returned, but muted, off in the distance. His apology hung between us, hungry for acceptance, heavy with regret. My pulse thundered. I realized I still clutched his hands. My fingers hurt from the grip. The fight and hurt and love all tangled inside my chest. I stepped back, breaking contact. The harsh echo of my heels on marble made my heart stutter. I bent down, picked up his phone, and typed, "We need to talk. Meet me in the kitchen, now." I hit send. The clack of the send button felt like a starting gun. Jess gazed at me, eyes wide. "What did he text?" I slipped the phone into my clutch. "Nothing good." The kitchen doors glided open under fluorescent lights. The splatter of pans and hum of ovens welcomed me with harsh reality. I took a deep breath, stepping inside. The kitchen lights were harsh, fluorescent glare bouncing off stainless steel counters and stove hoods. I snapped my fingers against the marble ledge, trying to steady my racing heart. My pulse pounded so loud I thought the chefs might hear it through the swinging doors. "Marisa?" Danny's voice came from behind the prep table, hushed. He hovered by the industrial sink, shoulders slumped. Pots clanked in the distance. I gripped the edge of a work table. "You brought me here to explain the texts." My voice was brittle, like cracked porcelain. He nodded, wetting his lips. "Yes." I drew out his phone, screen lit with the draft of an unsent message. "I'm sorry. I got carried away. Forget I said anything." My stomach lurched. "What's this?" He glanced away. I started typing a confession, but I couldn't finish. Heat flared in my cheeks. "Why not?" He wiped a hand over his face. "Because I'm ashamed." I exhaled, breath trembling. "Tell me everything." He sank onto a stool. The scrape of metal legs against tile reverberated. "Claire and I," he swallowed. "It started with texts. Innocent ones, at first. Checking in." His voice cracked. "But she pushed. She said she missed having someone understand her. I thought she meant me, as a friend." My chest felt hollow. "And then?" He stared at the tabletop. "Then one night she met me here, before the party. We talked. I should have stopped her when she tried to kiss me." He paused, voice small. "But I let her." I pressed my hand to my mouth. The scent of garlic sautéed in olive oil rose from a pan on the stove. My vision blurred. Danny's shoulders shook. We didn't. It was just words. She said she loved me." I panicked. I left. I stepped back, knocking over a stack of my Place containers. They rattled and fell. "You left?" I echoed, voice raw. "You walked away?" He nodded, tears brimming. "I did. I walked to the terrace. I was going to tell you everything, honestly, until I saw you walk in with Claire." And I froze. Silence stretched. The chefs paused, knives slicing vegetables somewhere behind closed doors. My throat tightened. I swallowed, fighting a sob. "So you lied. To me. To our 10-year anniversary. For what? Guilt?" He stood, stepping closer. "Because I was afraid of breaking you. I thought I could fix it before you found out." Anger and sorrow tangled in my chest. "You don't get to choose when I find out." My voice trembled. "I deserved the truth first." He reached for me, hesitated. "Marisa, please." I jerked free. "Don't." My fingers trembled on the marble. "I need to see the proof." He looked stunned. "Proof?" I opened his phone and navigated to the hidden archive folder. Messages from Claire spilled out in a flood. "Please, fantasies, plans to make tonight unforgettable by ruining mine." One line leapt off the screen. "He's yours tonight, if you want him. Let's end this." My breath hitched. My knees went weak. Danny's lips parted, horror on his face. "She wrote that?" I stared at him. He swallowed and turned away, voice breaking. "I never sent those. I never wanted that." My chest constricted. "But you read it." He nodded, tears sliding down his cheeks. "I saw it yesterday. I tried to delete it. I tried to protect you. The kitchen air felt cold, every tile underfoot burning. I realized no corner of this night was real anymore. My hand shook so hard I dropped his phone. It clattered across the floor. He bent to pick it up. Marisa. I backed toward the door. I can't do this. My voice wavered, raw. Not tonight. Not ever. He rose, eyes desperate. Please let me explain. But the swinging door caught me, and I stumbled into the party beyond. Twinkling lights, empty champagne flutes, the string quartet's distant melody, all felt alien. I spun around. Danny stood framed in the doorway, his face a portrait of shame and longing. I swallowed hard, tears hot on my cheeks. The ballroom lights blurred through tears. My phone buzzed again in my clutch. I froze, heart lurching. The next morning, the city felt muted. Dawn light seeped through the curtains in pale beams, casting long shadows on the floor. My head throbbed from yesterday's storm, and my throat was raw from yelling. I lay in bed, clutching the pillow, the taste of tears and unpopped champagne still on my lips. My phone lay on the nightstand, silent for the first time in hours. I stared at it, fingers twitching. Part of me dreaded opening it, another text, another excuse. But I needed clarity more than I needed anger. A soft knock came at the door. I sat up, hair tangled, pajamas rumpled. Danny stood in the doorway, shirt half tucked, eyes red but steady. Morning, he said, voice low. The suitcase by his feet looked too full, like he'd slept in his clothes, waiting. I nodded, heart fluttering. Morning, he swallowed. I said I'd give you space. I meant it. He placed the suitcase at the foot of the bed, then perched on the edge. The mattress dipped between us. I watched his fingers curl against the fabric. I'm sorry, he said. His voice cracked on. Sorry. Yet he seemed to mean every syllable. For the secrets. For letting Claire twist everything. I closed my eyes, pain pulsing. You hurt me, I whispered. I thought we were solid. He reached out, thumb brushing my wrist. His skin was cool. I know. And I don't expect us to bounce back overnight. He paused, searching me. But I want to try. I opened my eyes. Light glittered on the wood floor, reflecting like tiny promises. I swallowed hard. I need honesty. Everything, no matter how bad. He nodded, lips trembling. Everything. He lifted the suitcase and unzipped it, revealing the gifts I'd ordered for him, handwritten letters, the tie he'd loved. He pulled out the smartphone Claire had given him last year, engraved with our initials. I kept this because you said you believed in us, he explained. I should have trusted that. He held out the phone. I stared at our initials, carved in looping script. The weight of that gift, of his promise, stung. I took the phone, tracing the engraving with a fingertip. A lump in my throat loosened just a bit. Thank you? He exhaled. I'm staying. No more surprises. No more secrets. Just me, here. Light from the window shifted, painting him in gold. I felt tears slip free. Not the bitter tears of betrayal, but something softer, hope. I stood and moved to him, pressing my palm to his cheek. Skin warm under my hand. Promise me. He leaned into my touch. I promise. We stayed like that, wrapped in morning light and cautious hope, until the city stirred fully awake. Somewhere below, a car horn honked. A neighbor sneezed. The day was beginning. Slowly, I sank my forehead to his. He tasted like toothpaste and resolve. I breathed him in. I love you, I whispered. He brushed a strand of hair from my face. I love you more. Outside, the sun climbed higher, scattering shadows. In that quiet room, I realized some bonds break and mend with the same fragile threads.